Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and tonight we'll be focusing on the Egyptian-Indian relations, a history of regional cooperation and integration as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi today met with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, who was on a two-day visit to Cairo. We will be having more details regarding this visit, the historic visit, which is the first for an Indian Prime Minister since 1997, and the aspects of development and the strategic relationship between Egypt and India for the future. But we'll be starting straight away with the main top stories for today, which come on Sunday through the presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. As President al-Sisi described the ties between Cairo and New Delhi as strong and historical. President al-Sisi was speaking during a summit meeting with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace in Cairo on Sunday. Receiving an invitation from the Indian Prime Minister to participate at the upcoming G20 summit in New Delhi, the President said that he was confident that the Indian active leadership of the group will help contain the repercussions of the international challenges on the global economy. President al-Sisi added that Egypt is ready to cooperate with the Indian presidency of the G20 to push talks in a constructive track and help reach optimal methods for dealing with the energy crisis, climate change and the food shortages. Modi arrived on a two-day visit to Cairo on Saturday upon an invitation from President al-Sisi. It is the first trip to Egypt and the first for an Indian Prime Minister since 1997. It also coincides with the 75th anniversary for establishing the diplomatic relations between Egypt and India. Presidential spokesperson Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said that the summit talks asserted the keenness by both sides to expand ties in all fields, especially the IT, pharmaceuticals, higher education, vaccines, energy and trade. The meeting also discussed strengthening the cultural ties through launching direct flights between Cairo and New Delhi and increasing the volume of trade exchange between the two sides. In addition, talks between the two leaders dealt with the regional and the international files of mutual concern. Following the summit, President al-Sisi and the Indian Prime Minister signed the joint declaration over raising relations to the level of strategic partnership. The President also conferred the Order of the Nile, the highest Egyptian order, to the Indian Prime Minister. And still with the visit of the Indian Prime Minister to Egypt as a part of the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's current visit to Egypt, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli accompanied him over a tour at the Giza Pyramids Sunday afternoon. The Indian Prime Minister posed for photos at the historic place and listened to an explanation of its unique value. Later, Prime Minister Madbouli presented the visiting Indian leader with a replica of King Tut's golden mask as a souvenir that represents the great Egyptian civilization. Meanwhile, Mufti of the Republic, Dr. Shawqi Allam, said that the true religious practice has a role in establishing peace and coexistence between the peoples of different cultures. Over a visit to the Indian Prime Minister at the Cairo residence, Dr. Allam said that the recent visit to India showed him many aspects that are common between the Indian and the Egyptian peoples. For his part, the Indian Prime Minister said that his country believes in the role of religion in fostering peace and cooperation adding that New Delhi will help in providing the IT support center to the Egyptian IFTA authority. And with one last item of the top stories for today for the daily debate, the Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Dr. Mustafa Waziri, received the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday at the Al Hakim Mosque in Cairo. Waziri took the Indian Prime Minister and the accompanying delegation on a tour of the mosque, during which he reviewed the history of the mosque and its archaeological value. He also gave a briefing over the restoration project carried out by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities in cooperation with the Ministry of Awqaf and the Bukhara community that was completed and opened last February. At the end of the tour, Dr. Waziri offered the Indian Prime Minister an ancient Egyptian model for a boat in appreciation of cooperation with Egypt and India. We will be heading to the first report of the daily debate for tonight, which is about the historic visit of Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi to Egypt and his meeting with Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as we will be reviewing the prospects of developing the economic integration and strengthening the bilateral ties between Egypt and India. All this and more in the upcoming report, so stay tuned.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Cairo on Saturday for a two-day visit aimed at strengthening ties with Egypt. Modi was received at Cairo International Airport by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli. The two sides held a roundtable meeting to discuss aspects of bilateral cooperation, including trade, investment, and security. The visit comes at a time as India and Egypt are seeking to expand economic ties. India is Egypt's largest trading partner in Asia, and the two countries have a long history of cooperation in the fields of defense, security, and culture. In January, President Fattah al-Sisi paid an official visit to India as the chief guest of Indian Republic Day celebrations. During the state visit, the two countries agreed to elevate their relationship to strategic partnership. One of the key areas of discussion during Modi's visit is likely to be trade. India is interested in exporting more goods to Egypt, and Egypt is interested in importing more wheat from India. However, the two countries may also discuss the possibility of barter trade, in which Egypt would purchase goods from India using rupees. This would help to boost trade between the two countries, as well as help diversify Egypt's sources of imports. India and Egypt are converging strategically on common concerns as regional stability and maritime security. Both countries aim to collaborate effectively to address these challenges and expand trade and economic cooperation. The reconstruction of India and Egypt's relationship entails recognizing areas of shared interests, including trade, maritime security, and manufacturing, and addressing global challenges. Moreover, India's engagement with Egypt expands its horizons into Asia, while Egypt provides India with a gateway to Africa and the Mediterranean. The visit is considered an opportunity to strengthen India's strategic position in the Middle East.